Los Angeles, Rodney King was stopped by the police for driving at high speed. After the four police officers, Stacy Cohn, Lawrence M. Powell, Timothy E. Wind, and Theodore G. Briseno, leaving the vehicle, they struck him about 50 times with batons, punches, and kicks. And in addition to receiving electric shocks, Rodney suffered fractures on his skull, he had an ankle and several broken teeth, and cuts all over his body. The crime was filmed by George Holliday, and the recording was released to the whole world, creating indignation of the black community. The President of the United States, George Bush, criticized the behavior of the police, defining the episode as degrading. A year later, in 1992, the four agents who attacked King were acquitted. The verdict generated shock among the population, who came out in the streets, protest, and start the riots in the streets of South Central LA. Such riots affect the city of Los Angeles for several days. The unsurprising was one of the most destructive riots in American history.
Joining us for the city of Los Angeles, a third day of tension and violence. As night approaches, police and National Guard units are out in force. Federal troops are on standby. Violence in the city appeared to die down a bit today, but the toll is obvious. 37 people dead, more than 1,300 injured, more than 4,000 arrested. Damage estimate, $200 million and rising.
In a public statement to television station, Rodney King, moved by the situation, asked everyone to calm down.
I just want to say, can we all get along? Can we get along? Can we stop making it horrible for the older people and the kids?
In light of public pressure, King got a compensation of almost $4 million, and the officers involved were retired. And in 1993, 2 out of 4 were sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for using excessive force and violating the civil rights. After surviving the act of the police brutality, King battled alcohol and drugs addiction for the next few years, until his death. He considered himself a recovering addict in the last years of his life, having participated in 2012 in the program Celebrity Rehab, in which he tried to overcome his addiction to alcoholism. He died in 2012 at home, accidentally drowned in his pool after consuming drugs and alcohol. Rodney King became a writer. Among his most famous works are Rodney King and the LA Riots, The Singapore Miracle, Myth and Reality, and Singapore Education System, Myth and Reality. The bibliograph, The Riot Within, My Journey from Rebellion to Redemption, was written in 2012, 2 months before his death, telling facts from his childhood, his alcohol addiction, the incident with the police, and the protests caused in LA.
In 2017, a Netflix movie was released directed by Spike Lee and writing and starring Roger Guenveur-Smith. The film is a poetic and exciting show in which Roger Smith makes a multiplicity of voices, alternately assuming and opposing himself alongside Rodney King. The presentation is inspired by Rodney's complex trajectory since the LAPD's truculent approach to his accidental drowning death in his home pool.
Coon quotes Marvin Gaye, let's get it. Don't you worry, Mother Kang. They got it all on videotape.